Wow, time really is flying. It's already June. We're well into June and we're in the middle of the growing season of our cacti and other succulent plants here on the Northern Hemisphere. In today's video, I'd like to give you an update, a June update of my cactus and other succulent plant collection in my greenhouse. Also in today's video, I'll show you the centerpiece of my little cactus greenhouse. It's a mini landscape, a combination of succulent plants and decorative rocks. And that little mini cactus garden I've planted out on one of my display tables. Stay tuned. We'll take a look in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my greenhouse. My name is Joe. Right, now if I swing across to the main cactus bed, I've got a couple of groups of cacti growing here. So on this side you can see there's a whole set of Mammillarias. Then there's a big Notocactus here, and over here I've got a group of wonderful Gymnocalycium cacti growing. There's Gymnocalycium bruchii and Saglione and a couple others. And then the majority of cacti that I grow here on my display table are actually Parodias. So what used to be called Notocactus as a genus, and they were reclassified maybe 10-15 years ago all to be called Parodia now. And I've got a whole series of these here, but I've also, in between some of the Parodias, I've got a few Pachphytum ornatum growing here. And then we're back again to Parodias. And something I'd like to show you here is that, you know, there's the former Notocactus, now called Parodia, but there's also the Parodias that, if you like, have always been called Parodia. Parodia sanguiniflora, Parodia myranana, and so on. There's a few of those here, but the majority of plants here are, as I say, they're Parodias, formerly called Notocacti, and I just love their flowers, their blooms. They're just so beautiful, and they appear in such abundancy throughout the summer. It's just such a wonderful sight to enjoy. So quite a number of the Parodia that I grow here are actually quite old plants. They're 20 years and older, and you know, you can see that partly that their basal part is quite brown and, you know, dead looking. It's a phenomenon that we call corking among cacti. This is a quite common phenomenon. You can see it here as well. The basal part of a cactus plant would, you know, turn from green to this sort of cork colored brownish hardened epidermis, so outer skin. And quite a number of cacti actually develop that corking. So the oldest parts of the plant, you can see that here as well, the oldest parts of these plants would have this brownish corking phenomenon, and the younger part of these plants are the parts that have the active photosynthesis and are you know, fresh green, if you like, healthy looking. Here's a Parodia with, again, you know, a much older basal part, and here's a Parodia Haworthia, very old plant, more than 20 years, that has a very large basal part that is not very attractive, but then it's the youngest part of the plant that looks perfectly healthy, and that's where also the you know, the active photosynthesis is ongoing. The buds appear and the flowers, etc. Now, I've also got, growing among the Parodias, I've got some Hill de Vintra hybrids, and they equally have just the most amazing flowers. And then here there's a totem pole cactus, one of my stars here in the collection. There's a good meter in height now, with some younger stems developing, and there you go, the totem pole cactus. Outside the greenhouse, I've got, during the summer, my pelargoniums, I've got my orchids, but I've also got my epicacti. They're growing basically outside in the open air, and that's a much healthier place for them to actually be growing than inside in the greenhouse, which becomes too hot for these epicacti, but also pelargoniums, and certainly the cold house orchids as well. Here's a nice pelargonium flower. Now, separately from my cacti, I have a compartment which has almost entirely other succulent plants, so non-cacti, and you know, you can see Pachypodiums here in beautiful bloom, Pachypodium bispinosum, and then I've got my Euphorbias, the Euphorbia collection from Euphorbia ferox, Abyssinica, and some of the larger Euphorbia that I have here. I've also got my Caudex plants growing here, and again, Euphorbia among other Caudex plants. I'll just take you through briefly the Euphorbia that I'm growing here. I'll put a video out one of these days dedicated to the actual Euphorbia collection, so I can actually have a bit more time to show you more of my Euphorbia collection. It's the lighting is a little difficult because the sun is slowly going down in the background there, so you can see the silhouette of a bunch of the Euphorbia. And if I move to the higher shelves here, more Euphorbia, and also a whole bunch of other succulent plants, also in hanging pots, Pachyphytums, And I'll also go back down. Also, if we take a look down here, there's Euphorbia miliae, there's various other Euphorbia, Euphorbia pulvinata, grandicornis. There's a bunch of Echverias here. There's Senecio. There's my couple of the Boswellia plants, so the frankincense tree with its wonderful, wonderful flowers. I've also got a whole bunch of pelargoniums that I'm growing here, and a number of them are actually, you know, quite succulent in nature. Here's a Pelargonium gibbosum, this is. And yeah, just a couple more glimpses of hanging pots with various other succulent plants. I've got a larger Selenicereus set growing here. Yeah, so that concludes a little tour of the other succulent plants compartment of the greenhouse. So this is where I've hardly got any cacti, but you know, mostly Euphorbia, but also a bunch of caudiciforms or caudex plants, and another quick view. There we go. Oh, and I forgot to mention, of course, also in the central parts of the greenhouse, my little collection of old men, the old men from the Andes, as these cacti are called, the Oreocereus trolli. That's this really white-haired specimen here. And there's a couple of other species of Oreocereus, so from this genus. And that really concludes today's whirlwind tour of my collection. A little update for the month of June. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tour through my collection, through my greenhouse. And you know, if you did, then why not just click the like button, send me a comment if you like, and if you haven't yet subscribed and you would like to, then you know, please hit the subscribe button. I would recommend you actually also hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button, because that will actually also give you automatic notifications every time there's a new video uploaded to the channel. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your time. Stay safe. Take care. Hope to see you very soon again. And as always, happy growing.